Welcome to the podcast where we talk about national and state parks here on Park It. This is episode 2, and we are going to talk about the state parks within Tennessee and why they are important. I'm Avery Nettles, and here today we have Kaley Scott, and we will talk about the history of parks as well as the wildlife that you can see. If you love nature, park it right here and enjoy the view.
So I have actually been on several hikes to several parks. I've been to Fiery Gizzard, that's closer to Chattanooga. I've been to Fall Creek Falls, Burgess Falls, Virgin Falls, and Window Cliffs as well. I would say that the coolest experience for me was Fiery Gizzard. Within Fiery Gizzard, I went to Ravens Point, and Ravens Point is about 9.5 miles into the hike, and the total is, I believe, 12.5. And while we were there, there was 2 different options to take on this hike, and I didn't know that, and my boyfriend did not as well. It was our first date, so he didn't really plan much about that besides the actual hike. But we split up apparently from this big hiking group, and they went one way and we went the other, and we didn't realize that the way we took was all this strenuous hike with jagged rocks, and we felt like we were goats on the side of the mountain. Like, there were several points where if Brian hadn't to put his hand out, I would have fallen off the cliff. And by the time we got to the very top of the mountain, we saw all these dogs, and we were like, how did these dogs take the same path up as we did? And so we started going down the opposite way and realized that the opposite way is the way we should have gone because it was all flat. But
I've definitely done that before.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it was a lot of fun, and it was like a really pretty 360 view. There were several points, not just the main point, that you could go up to and look at different views, and we had one that wasn't as crowded, and it was nice. So that one was cool.
I've definitely done that before because over the summer I went to, I think it was at Yosemite National Park in California. My family and I were hiking, and then we came back down the opposite way we were going, like you said, and then we saw all these people with rafts and picnic blankets and tables and all this kind of stuff, and we're just like, how did they bring all that if they went through what we just did? And we're like, oh, there was an easier way.
Yeah, we didn't realize that either because the trails weren't marked very well, so we couldn't tell if we were still on the trail or not.
Yeah, that's how it was with us. We were like, I think we took a wrong turn or did something wrong. Yeah. So has you guys been on any other hikes since then?
We went to Virgin Falls shortly after that, and that one was 9 miles, and that one was interesting because we were mid-hike, and Brian was about to step down, and I realized he was about to step on this black long snake, and I had to push him away, and we weren't dating for that long, so it was kind of awkward. He looked at me like, why did you shove me into this tree? And I pointed down, and this snake was just curled up. It looked angry, and we had to cut through these trees that were all close together to get around it instead of the actual path. It was very frightening.
That does sound very scary. I'm glad that you helped him not step on the snake.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was definitely worth it because that one had a very large waterfall, which was cool. And not only did you see it from the ground, it had this curved path where you could go on top of the waterfall and look down, and if you were adventurous enough you could get on the rocks on top of the waterfall, but I was not that adventurous.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I probably wouldn't either get on top of the rocks on top of the waterfall, because I'm like, if you fall, you're going down the waterfall.
Yeah, that one was rough more on the way back. Normally it's on the way there is rough, but on the way back was rough because it was all constantly uphill. We were very tired after that one.
I bet, because you said it was 9.5 miles?
Yeah, and either during the whole all these hikes that I've been through, I was just wearing normal sneakers, so my ankles were killing me, but I finally got hiking boots a couple months ago.
Yeah, I bet you are, because hiking boots definitely help save your ankles.
Yes, I had no stability, and
because for the amount of times you guys go hiking, or he's been hiking, I would assume that you would invest in some. I'm sure you're going to go on plenty more hikes.
Yeah, it was a 2-year Christmas present that he finally gave to me. So
Ah.
I had been waiting for them.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah, but I've also been to Fall Creek Falls and Burgess Falls with you,
Mm-hmm.
and those were a lot of fun. Burgess Falls wasn't very long for us, but it was
No.
cool because we got to be like immersive with it and go out like onto the water and see the waterfall from like above and right on top of it. And
Yeah.
that one was definitely a lot busier. And then I liked Fall Creek Falls. It was really chill and it wasn't like strenuous or anything.
I think when we went to Burgess Falls, it was like this time 2 years ago.
I think so, yeah. And it was like, I think it was in March, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember it being around, like, Good Friday.
Yeah.
I think it might have been on Good Friday.
Probably, because I feel like you texted me and you're like, we don't have class. Do you want to go hiking? And I was like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I haven't been on many hikes recently, but yeah, I do make a stop to B-Rock a lot. I don't consider that a hike because it's not strenuous, and most of it you're walking through gravel to get there. But it's a nice place. Like, we went on Memorial Day to have like a picnic, so that was cool. Yeah, it's a really easy spot to set up for pictures, picnics, all that kind of thing. It's just mainly the view is really nice, and they have a hotel there that you could stay at.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have a hotel, and I didn't know where the path to get to B-Rock was. It didn't say online or anything, so I had to knock on this hotel door, and she was very mad because she gets this a lot, and she's like, it's that path that she pointed it at, because all these signs on her property said, do not trespass, blah, 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 so I was super nervous.
They should put a sign saying, hey, the path starts here or something.
It's behind their gift shop, which is no longer functioning. It's tore down, like the ceiling's caved in, overgrown grass, so I didn't know that behind that was the path. So I knocked on her door and she's like, are you guys staying at the hotel? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, you're just one of those people who can't find the path. And I was like,
yeah, they should honestly put like signs or something so that way they can let people know so she doesn't have to get annoyed.
You'd think she would, yeah. But it was really pretty in there. I noticed when I was looking in, like talking to her, that she has like this dining room that all glass on the back and you just overlook the whole view. And it's super pretty. And I especially love to go during the fall when everything's like red and orange and yellow trees and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy hiking more in the fall because you get to see all the pretty nature and stuff like that. And it's not as hot as it is in the summer.
I used to go a lot. So I was, when I was younger, actively involved in Girl Scouts. My grandmother and my mother were like my leader and co-leader. Grandmother was really like wanted us to do exercise and love nature, and she loves history.
Mm-hmm.
So she would take us on hikes and tell us like, looking at the rings and count the rings, and that's how in the tree, and that's how old the tree is and stuff like that. So I've always grown up like hiking, and I love doing it, and I find it like an easy like exercising activity that gets you involved, because I like to do like cardio and stuff like that, but I can't just run to run. I find that boring. So I like hiking because there's things to look at and things to do and people to talk to, but it's also an exercise.
It is. I was also involved in Girl Scouts, and we did like a lot of camping trips and stuff like that because one of my friends, her dad was a Boy Scout leader, and so he used to go on camping trips all the time with them. So he'd take us on those kinds of camping trips, like with dads and daughters camping trips and stuff like that. So my dad and I would go camping all the time because my mom hates camping.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the camping aspect. I guess it's just because I'm only child and I'm OCD and I like clean.
Yeah, that's how my mom is, because she's just like, I would rather go glamping or like stay in a cabin or something. She goes, that's about the extent of my camping. She goes, maybe a camper, but she goes, never a tent. She's like, I've done it once, and she's like, I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, I did it all in Girl Scouts growing up and just not been a fan. Brian, on the other hand, he would sleep in a hammock. He loves that, which like leads into my next story. So Brian hikes, it's in Knoxville, it's called Mount LeConte, and he's hiked that trail so many times. The most recent hike he went on it, he woke up at 4 in the morning to take him and his stepbrother there, and they wanted to watch the sunrise and all
4
that.
in the morning?
Yeah, he left Cookeville at 4 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And the hike to get to like the view was a long time, so I don't know how they did it, but they managed to make it there in time. But it's very narrow, like stairs, uphill. But the first time that he went on the hike, I would say that he went uphill this one way, right by where he parked. And he said that he went back the opposite way. And he didn't realize that the opposite way didn't connect to where he had parked. So
no.
Oh, yeah. So when he got down on the other side, he was like, I don't recognize this parking lot. None of these cars are my cars. And he was super nervous because he realized that in order to get back to his car, he had to hike back up and back down. And it's all narrow pathways, stairs, windy turns. It's not an easy hike at all. And so I am not proud of him for this, but he hitchhiked and
Of course he did.
yeah, if you know his personality well enough, it's fitting. But he was fortunate enough that the people that picked him up were two old ladies. So they were talking to him about their granddaughters and how pretty they are. And they drove him back to his car. And thank goodness he did not get kidnapped or murdered during that. We weren't dating when he went on that hike. We were like just getting to know each other. And he was like, yeah, not my proudest moment. And I was like, yeah, I would have just bite the bullet and went back up.
Yeah, same here. But also at the same time, though, he got lucky that there were two old ladies and stuff. But how long would it have been if he didn't hitchhike? Do you know?
I think it would have been, I think he said another 2 to 3 hours. Yeah. So it would have been a commitment.
That is a commitment, but it's also a commitment to hitchhike too.
That is true. And I'm sure he was like super exhausted from it. He's been on it a couple times. The first time he went with the hitchhiking scenario.
Okay.
The most recent time he's been there was with his stepbrother. He was by himself when he hitchhiked, but this time he went with his stepbrother, and that's the time that they woke up at like 4 a.m. and left from. Well, he left from Cookeville. His brother lived in Gallatin, so his brother had to wake up even earlier to come meet Brian so they could both drive there together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was happy to stay in bed and asleep during that all.
You're like, I'm not going on this one. I'll let you two have your brother bonding time.
Yeah.
Maybe the next time.
Yeah, but I definitely haven't been on a lot of hikes since then, and I want to really get back into it, especially want to try Fiery Gizzard again and really challenge myself with that. So I think Brian and I are going to do that one again.
Yeah, I've also enjoyed hiking around here in Cookeville too. And I told myself before I graduate I want to go to as many as I possibly can, and I have not done that just because school has gotten busy and stuff. But I've gotten to a few of them over the years, and which has been nice.
Yeah, that's what I feel because I'm a nursing major and I graduate in May. And if you know anything about nursing, it's that you don't get the college social life or going to do things. So hiking is something that I'm really fortunate that when I get the time to do it, I take advantage of that.
Same here.
Yeah, because I haven't been on a hike since February of 22. Yeah, February 22. And I'm really sad about it, but things really picked up in my junior year, and then senior one, I was trying to make sure to finish on a good leg and all that, and I think things are going good. But yeah, as soon as I graduate and have more free time, I'm taking advantage of that.
Yeah, I definitely think that we should definitely take advantage of that, considering that they're not far from here at all, and they're all very pretty and have, like, each one is different in their own way, kind of, and they have different, like, aspects of things you can do while you're in each, like, trail or hiking spot in Cookeville. I think we have, like, 15 state parks within an hour to drive from here, and not a lot of places can say that they have that as like a point of kind of like a point to bring people in.
Yeah, I feel that because it definitely with like each hike I've been on is different. Virgin Falls had this huge waterfall and some little ones in between. Fiery Gizzard had some very small waterfalls, but a lot of like caves. And when we went into one of the caves, we noticed, like, I can't definitively say because that's not my major, but it looked like bear tracks and like paw prints and stuff. So obviously some type of animal had been in there.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see like everything was different.
Yeah, because I enjoy that as well, because it's like you get different things from different parks that you go to, and so it's kind of cool to see them.
Yeah, I think like Putnam County has like 150 waterfalls. So yeah.
That is really cool. I didn't know that Putnam County had 150 waterfalls.
Yeah.
It'd take a while to go visit them all.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And finding the time to do it all is just hard, but back out there and hike some more together sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast today, Kaley. And next time we will talk about another state or national park here on Park It. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, I'm Avery Nettles, and this is Kaley Scott.